Welcome back once again. It's your boy Cypher Da MC, the Muhammad Ali of MCs. Welcome to the Into the Cypher podcast. As you know, it's 2023.
Yep.
At the time that this is being recorded, it's still 2022, but you're listening to it in 2023. So that means this is the future?
Bruh.
If right now is the future, you're listening to it from the past, but in the future, that didn't make much sense either to me.
Nope.
But no, welcome back. I greatly appreciate each and every one of you rocking with your boy once again. 2023, we're on to bigger and better things. As you can see, it's 2022. I'm sure some of us wish that it was, are glad that it's gone. Some of us may, reminisce a little bit more about it. But either way, you're here right now. You're here with me. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with me. I appreciate that. Shout out to Jay-Z. But before we get into anything, definitely continue to subscribe if you're watching this on YouTube. Hit the notification bell, all that good stuff, But of course, we have to get our disclaimers out the way before we get started, because that's what we do. We got to get these disclaimers out the way. Nothing has changed from 2022 to 2023. We got to get these disclaimers out the way so Dr. So-and-so from 5 years from now, well, he was giving out relationship advice and stuff. First and foremost, I'm not a relationship expert. I'm not a psychiatrist or psychologist of any kind. I don't have a master's or a doctorate from Harvard. I am just a regular Joe Schmo. Just a regular guy giving you the benefit of not only his experience, but also encouraging us just to kind of look at things from a different perspective and maybe look at things that we've never seen before in maybe a different light. So that's what we're here to do as we continue to walk in our purpose and be the best version of ourselves. As we continue to do that, I'm on this journey with you. I told you, I'm on this journey with you. And I wanted to make sure that this was stated, so we can go ahead and get that out the way. But yeah, 2022 is no longer here. 2023, first day. I'm sure New Year's resolutions are about, if you're into those, into making them. I myself am not. I'm not into New Year's resolutions. I'd rather set goals for myself. Kind of trick my mind in a way to say, okay, this is a goal that you set before, let's see if you can reach this goal. Maybe it's just a different way to dress up a resolution, but I would rather say a goal than a resolution. Because how many of us have tried resolutions in the past and it just explosion sound effect. But the fact of the matter is this. Today's topic deals with fears. I know we've probably touched on fears in a previous episode, but I wanted to kind of go a little bit more in depth as far as just a deep dive in some of the fears. And like I say, I like to use myself as an example so that you guys know exactly that I'm not preaching from the pulpit. I'm not on a box saying you. I'm here with you. I'm learning as I go. I'm learning more and more about myself, and as I continue to self-care and put my mental and my emotional health at a priority, I'm kind of learning more things about myself rather than just kind of going with the flow, so to speak. And the fears that I'm talking of are, some of your basic fears and things of that nature. And as we continue to touch on them, and we'll try to figure out how do we conquer these fears. We have to conquer self in order for self to kind of progress. But as we continue to peel back the layers within our own selves, we find something else that needs to be conquered, something else that needs to be addressed or built up. You want to be as strong man or woman as possible, whether it's your physical self, whether it's your emotional self, whether it's your mental self, whether it's your psychological self, whether it's your financial self, to be as best a possible individual that you can possibly be. So we've all, come across some fears at some point in time. When we were little kids, we were afraid of the dark. I was one of those kids. I think I had a nightlight up until I was maybe like 7 or 8 or something like that, or 9. Don't judge me. It was probably 7 or 8 or something to that effect. But my mind would race that something, was in the corner, or something was in my closet. Nothing under my bed. There was nothing under my bed by toys, but I knew that they would protect me, because that's what toys do. Toys protect. At least that's what I told myself. But yeah, fear of the dark, thunderstorms. I had one of those families where oh, there's a thunderstorm. Everyone sit on the floor and be quiet, or you'll get struck by lightning. Wait, what? You mean I can't whisper or nothing? I'll get struck. I don't want to get struck by lightning. So I think that's just something some of the older folks told the younger kids to keep them quiet. Just be quiet. I don't want to hear your voice. You know what? If you talk, you're going to get struck by lightning. Silence. No one said it. No one. I don't think hardly we breathed. We let out a sigh or whatever until the storm passed. But yeah, some people have fear of dogs. I'm gonna just give a rundown of just some typical fears that we then I'll get more involved into what we likely have in common more so. Fear of snakes. I don't fear snakes. I actually like snakes. I like snakes when I'm watching them on TV. When they're doing their snaky thing. That's ophidiophobia. Some people have fear of dogs. That's cynophobia. I don't have a fear of dogs. I just don't like dogs that I don't know. Maybe that's a fear. I don't know. Fear of needles. I do not like needles. I do not like shots. If I have to get a shot, okay, I'm fine when the needle's already in my arm. There's nothing much I can do at that point. There's nothing much I can do. But a fear of needles, that's wow. Trypanophobia. Fear of spiders, arachnophobia. Movie with John Goodman as well. Okay, some people have a fear of flying. That's aviophobia. I mean, we normally just call it by, you just have a fear of flying. Fear of heights, acrophobia. I pretty much know about that one. Fear of enclosed rooms or enclosed spaces, claustrophobia. Fear of crowded public places, or agoraphobia. So imagine if you were an individual and you suffer from both claustrophobia and agoraphobia. That is, I just thought about that. That would be definitely a hard existence there. You would. I can't even wrap my head around that one. That just came to me. Okay. But more so the fears that we may all have shared at some point in time. A fear of failure. That's a big one for many of us, especially those that, are attempting new things or anything such as that. The fear of success. That's actually one that I struggle with. Believe it or not, I had a fear of success. And I'll get into that shortly here. And also a fear of losing oneself. I really didn't get into other typical fears, like fear of being alone, or fear of losing money or anything such as that. I wanted to kind of touch on these three in particular. But yeah, fear of failure. That prevents many of us from actually trying, because we either get talked out of it by family or friends, or we kind of psych ourselves out from it. I want to start a business, but there's so many businesses that are going out of business, or how many small businesses actually make it, or where am I going to get the funding, or the financial support? Who am I going to get to invest? And we kind of make a list of all these cons, but we don't make a list of the pros. Something to think about. We make a list of the cons, the reasons why it would not succeed, the why it would not be successful, the reasons why it would fail, but you rarely hear about the list of pros, as far as, hey, it's going to serve the community, it's going to benefit this demographic, it's going to I can be able to help others, not only in my city but my region, my state. We often kind of psych ourselves out when it comes to failure, because let's admit, failure is a very humbling experience. It's very humbling. It can be very disconcerting. It can be very hurtful. It can hurt our pride to a large degree, and we're sitting there and we're like, where did I go wrong? What could I have done? But do you get back on that horse, so to speak? Do you get back on that bike? You fell off your bike. Do you get back on and ride? And how soon after failing do you get back on that bike? How many of us have actually gone to that extreme of saying, oh, this didn't work out. All right, let me see what I can do to kind of maybe tweak my process. Maybe there was something in the process that I could have done differently that may have garnered me a different result. Maybe I need to plan better. Maybe I need to prepare a little bit better. Go back to the drawing board, start over. How soon do we do that? Or do we just kind of let it sit there for X amount of time before a couple of months back I tried and I just didn't have the heart to go back into it, or the patience, or maybe the finances at the time. That's understandable. But if it's something that really is in your heart to do, failure, we have to understand, is part of success. It's part of the process. If we can't accept the process as a whole, when failure comes, or when those obstacles come, or when those roadblocks come, then guess what? We're going to look at everything as a failure versus just that one part that challenged us. There's going to be challenges. And I think the sooner that we understand that, the better off that we actually are. Fear of success. Now, I touched on this one earlier, and you may have scratched your head and was like, what? Fear of success? Yeah. I found out that this is actually what it was, and it could be just as much of a hindrance as failure. Because once you become successful, you have to maintain that level of success, or whatever is considered success, either in your eyes or those that are watching. So it's a matter of, okay, I've reached this level, now I have to maintain it. So I have to continue to be consistent. Maybe I have to switch things up a little bit. Maybe I have to kind of go a little bit, go above and beyond. Maybe I have to do a little bit more. And if there's any type of drop off, we can tend to panic. We can tend to kind of say, okay, no, what's going on? Why is it not working? We may second guess ourselves just a little bit more so than the individual who experienced failure. Because, You've probably seen it many times in regards to maybe athletes or a particular type of sport. You know, how often have we had repeat Super Bowl champions? It always seems that the team that wins the Super Bowl or goes to the Super Bowl the following year, they are not good. What happened? You have pretty much the same guys. You're just running the same plays. You're doing pretty much the same thing. Why isn't it garnering the same results? You know, different challenges, different set of circumstances. We have to learn to adjust on the fly. We kind of have to make certain adjustments to what we did the previous time to try to maintain that success. But now, guess what? There's going to be a new team that's going to be a Super Bowl champion. And the chances are great that they too will face the same so-called Super Bowl curse. After winning, the following year, they are not good anymore. They don't make it at all. So it's kind of like, well, how does that play into being successful? You have that level of success, now you have to maintain it. So that was my biggest fear coming into 2022. Was trying to figure out, okay, if I am successful, how can I maintain it? Still working on that, but it's something that I really had to garner for myself, had to understand for myself that fear of success really shouldn't hold me back from actually still taking those steps towards progressing. So kind of take that with a grain of salt, because it depends on where you are as far as your process. One of the biggest fears, fear of losing oneself. Now it may seem kind of odd, but there might be some of you that would say, hey, you know what? Once I become rich or wealthy or famous, I got to make sure that, I'm still going to be me. I'm still going to be humble. I'm still going to be, I'm still going to be down. I'm not going to change or anything such as that, because that's a big fear. Oftentimes we've seen it in movies or TV shows where someone gets to a certain point and they allow the wealth to affect them. They allow the fame to affect their mind, or they think they're better than us now. They think they're better than they used to be. They used to be right here with us, and now that they're have some sort of fame or whatever, oh you're just too good for us. You're just too this, too that. And that's a big fear for a lot of people, because they don't want to lose their support. They don't want to be viewed as you changed. You changing on us. There has to be change. That's a given. There has to be change. And many people don't realize that change is a part of the process. Is a part of any process that you that you go through in life. Because if you want to be a better person, you're going to have to change. You're going to have to stop doing some of those things that you used to do in order to become a better person. I mean, if you were, mugging old ladies in Walmart parking lots, and you decided, you know what, that's not a good thing. I'm not going to do that anymore. Hey, that's a good change. You realize something at some point, that these, old ladies that you're mugging in Walmart parking lots, number one, you can go to jail. Number two, this is someone's grandmother, great-grandmother, someone's sister, auntie, whatever the case may be. Someone may get hurt in the process. Now you have to live with that, so on and so forth. Change is a part of the process. Change is part of any progress that you're attempting to make. So a fear of change you can allude to, you have a fear of progression. And we all want to progress in some way, shape, form, or fashion. If you're trying to learn a new language, guess what? That's a change for you. As you continue to learn words and phrases in a different language, you're progressing. It's going to be, hey, you might be able to understand something, in Spanish or Italian or German that, your family or friends may not understand, you can say, no, this means da 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 da. If they can accept it, they're like, hey, that's awesome. So-and-so knows this and that and whatever. Sometimes people who don't understand change will try to use that against you. And that's not your problem. That's not your fault that you are elevating yourself. That's part of the journey. Sometimes your journey will seem like a lonely one, because one is the loneliest number. But guess what? You're going to be better for it, especially to those that accept your progress and your change. So how do we conquer these fears? How do we conquer these fears? Number one, write this down. You have to acknowledge them. You have to acknowledge that you have a fear. Many of these fears, some people get diagnosed. Some people, will just say, I have a fear of dogs with no diagnosis. If you have a dog, I'm not going to be at your house. I'm not going to be there. Is your dog locked up? Things, you can't be in denial. You cannot be in denial when it comes to your fear or whatever is holding you back at this point. Whether it's fear, success, losing yourself in the process, whatever it is, you can't be in denial and say, I don't know what it is. I'm just at this point where I'm trying to figure things out. Acknowledge the fact that you do have a fear. Acknowledge the fact that, you know what, I could be, I have a fear of failure, which likely is going to be the majority, the largest percentage of us. Acknowledge it, don't deny it. And moving into step 2, you have to develop a tactic or measure of how to deal with that fear. Start off small though. Start off small. Do not try to, come up with these large gargantuan goals. Well, in 2 months from now, I want to do this. 2 months from now, I want to do that. 2 months. Set realistic goals, small steps. Set dates, plan, prepare. We've talked about it before. When you write something down, you're making a commitment to yourself that, hey, this was important. It's kind of like a to-do list to keep yourself organized, to keep yourself structured. If you make a to-do list, you're saying, I want to accomplish everything that's on this to-do list. Oh, I want to go to the store, pick up some groceries. I want to vacuum. I want to, clean my kitchen. I want to, do some work in the yard. You set, plan, and prepare to do those things. You can't do them all at once unless you're the Flash. Are you the Flash? No, okay. You can't do them all at once, so you have to set time. Well, I'm going to do this in the morning. Well, it's a busy weekend, so likely I'll go to the grocery store a little bit. I'll go in the afternoon when there likely is going to be less people. Because more than likely, everyone's going to try to get out in the morning. Whatever the case may be. Set dates, plan, prepare. Small, realistic goals. Number 3, when you've met any one of those goals, reward yourself. Reward yourself. A piece of cake. Gluten-free if you want. Reward yourself. Pat yourself on the back. Celebrate the fact that you've met a goal on your journey to face and conquer a fear that could be holding you back in the large scheme of things. In the grand scheme of things, something could be holding you back and I don't know what it is. You acknowledge it. You develop a way to approach it, to attack it. You start off small, realistic goals, and then you reward yourself once you've met those goals. If you have a support system, let them know what's going on, an actual support system. Individuals that are going to say, hey, I see that you met one of your goals. I'm so proud of you. I want you, and they encourage you to keep going. They encourage you. They don't say, well, okay, what do you want, a cookie? I'm all about weeding out individuals that are not going to support. Support is an action word, which means there's action behind it. It's not something that you just say just to say. You have to have a support system, those individuals that are going to hold you accountable and say, hey, I understand, I remember you mentioning something about a goal that you were, trying to work towards by the end of the week. Did you do that? Did you, what are you waiting for? You have time, but I need for you to get on that. In other words, people that actually want to see you win, they want to see you win by conquering yourself, so that way whatever is in front of you will seem conquerable. Make sense? Last but not least, continue to progress and challenge yourself to conquer your fear. Don't just stop at those goals. Okay, all right, I conquered this fear. Sometimes you may have to revisit those steps again to make sure that fear is completely gone, because you're going to be tested at some point in time. Understand that. You're going to be tested on these fears. You're going to be tested on certain things that fear of failure, because you're going to maybe want to start something new. You're going to have to start the process all over again. Okay, this is new territory. I can't think negatively. I can't think that I'm going to fail. I can't think that, it's not going to work out because it's something I've never done or tried before. Guess what? This is where you now have a blueprint that you've created. This is what worked for you. It's not what some guru told you to do. And also, I'm not a guru, but I could be you. It's not something that you saw in some, infomercial or anything such as that. It's something that pretty much you said, hey, this is what worked for me. I'm going to try to apply it to this new endeavor. If you have a rough time with it, then that means that you may have to add in a step. You may have to kind of, tweak your goals a little bit more, put a little bit more time and effort into it. It doesn't mean that it's not conquerable. It just means that you have to devote a little bit more time to it. And believe me, at the end of the day, you will know for yourself that you put forth the effort and the energy towards conquering your fear. And once you've conquered that fear, you will become a better person because of it, and those connected to you will be better as well. And with that being said, you know who it is. It's your boy, Cypher Da MC, the Muhammad Ali of MCs, the Bronx Don himself. Thank you for tuning in once again on the podcast. If you're watching this on YouTube, hey, you know what it is. Drop a mic on that like button for your boy, subscribe, notification bell. Thank you so much for those that rock with your boy from 2001 up until now. I got so much planned for you guys. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's insane. And remember,
bruh.
All right, I'm stop. But guys, thank you so much. And, continue to download the podcast, share it with family, friends. This 2023, 3 is a symbol, is a number of change. Changes are coming. Whether we want it or not, changes are coming. So, as always, before you can love anyone else, you must first love yourself. And I am out this thing. Cypher.
I will not lose.
Into the cypher with your light.